let's try c4 for this one. Alright, symmetrical English. I should really study up on this one. c3 and g3, bishop g2. Oh no, actually I'm going to go with a quick castle. Bishop g2, knight f3, castle, and retain my central pawns. I want to retain the flexibility with my central pawns, but now with that last move, it says a lot. d5 is weak, and I could try and get to that square. And by the way, now it's all the more appealing because of what? Because once there, it's hitting the queen. Let me castle first, and this knight, if you're familiar with the Roy Lopez, how the queen knight plays to d2, f1, g3. With this structure, there is the possibility for this king knight to take the following journey. e1, c2, e3, and you guessed it, knight d5. Weak points. Let's see if I could get that in. I'm going to go for it. He's on his way. And I think bishop here is a good option right now. Pressure on this pawn does not allow me to continue with my journey. Now, if bishop e7 was played and I had knight c2 in response to it, and then bishop e6 was played, you'll know I could play to e3, guard this pawn, and then get ready to jump right here. So this is the best way to defend, pretty sure. Two reasons behind it. Support the pawn and allow for the possibility of bishop g5 to take this knight out. Black might be trying to get in rook here and then a pawn push in the center. But I could always prevent that idea with playing bishop g5 if rook to d8 is played. But now, just in the nick of time, I believe I will be able to get firm control over this square. But I think, actually, before I play my knight here and then there, I think going for this imbalance is a correct idea. Give up my dark square bishop for this knight so that I have that much more control over this square. So let me do this right now. Bishop g5. And what next? Now what? Now what is the scoop here? Okay, well, I can take this knight right now, or what? Do I really want to do that? If I don't, no, actually I just do. I guess there's the possibility for like the knight to move and we would have a dark square bishop exchange. I'm trying to work on the following. I'm trying to work on showing that this dark square bishop will not be able to do something constructive for black. This is the plan that I'm coming up with. I think knight right here is good, or is there a rush? 1, 2, 3, 4. If this pawn pushes, there's 1, 2, 3 defending it. There's not enough defense. What can I be doing in the meantime? Actually, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to go with this knight so that I have this pawn advance available. Maybe 1 or 2 squares, but at least give it the options if need be. And I don't want to enter... These are very important points right here. These decisions that I'm making right now in this game are very, very important because they're going to dictate the rest of the play. If I take with my knight, we might enter what? Black has the option to convert it into an opposite color bishop ending, and it's very difficult to show an advantage. I want this light square bishop to occur. I'm one step away from having a good knight versus a bad bishop situation. Something that you would see covered in a middle game book. Not just middle game books, but I'm sure there's wonderful examples of good knight versus bad bishops. So I'm perfectly okay with bishop takes knight here. Now, capturing like this is just helping this rook. I don't want to do that. And I'm not really a big fan of allowing for this b5 move to be played. So let's stop that right now. I guess there's some possibility for rook a3 to b3. And what will black do in the meantime? Because there's no fear. Like, if you look at this board right now in sections, if you look at the queen side, you look at the king side, what's going on? On the queen side, we have what? I'm stopping this potential pawn break. What might happen over on the king side? It's this f5 move, this f4 move. If this guy ever moves, then, you know, we're going to have, it's likely the case that the light square bishops come off and my knight will be able to reside on the d5 square. If the f-pawn gets down to f4, maybe he could camp out on e4. If I push here, is the queen going to get trapped? She might be close to getting trapped. Let me think about this a little bit, but not too much, actually. How about rook up and over? Actually, that seems to be pretty appealing. I'm going to go with that. Rook up. If the pawn is taken, then the queen is officially cooked. Now, black might be thinking, wait, I'll take here, and then after the recapture, I'll take, and then if rook b3, there's queen a2. Well, I get this pawn back at the end of it, and I'm still accomplishing what I set out for some time ago, and that is to have like a good knight versus bad bishop. Actually, not too far back, or not super early was I thinking about a good knight versus bad bishop, but certainly as soon as e5 was played, I was thinking about the d5 square. And now this is just dropping material. I'm converging on b2. And I believe I'll be able to capture it with tempo unless the queen plays to a5. Queen a5 or the queen playing to the 7th rank. What is the correct way to recapture? Okay, now it's definitely best with this rook. And the queen is out of squares. As a follow-up, I think I could just play this move. I have my opponent rocked back on their heels, and I want to keep that. I want to keep control over the position. Queen b3, b4 comes to mind. Anything else? I'm gonna do this. Hang on. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I was thinking the bishop might try to deflect my bishop away from the defense of the rook. Okay, let's come back. Queen b3. Okay, now that the b file has opened up, so that's what this b4 move accomplished. Now I could finally get this rook doing something else. Notice how this bishop is not playing. It's a tall pawn. I have very little worry about this guy causing me any headache. So as follow-up moves, assuming there are no direct threats against me, queen b3, rook f to b1. I'm close to just sacking on this square. Let's get this rook here first. There might be a reason to keep this rook around on f1, maybe. I'm just trying to forecast problems before there are any problems. So I could do this, but the position is under control at this point. And now something has to give. We're entering a opposite color bishop ending maybe, but I have material. I could be grabbing this if bishop takes knight as well. And actually I think that is best. No, it's not. I'm just gonna, no, I'm not, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I was thinking for a second there's rook takes and then queen takes rook there. Let's just do this. Let's get here. Keep it really simple. Keep control over it, and in time pressure, the queen is lost. Anything. Okay, we're down to just seconds right there at the end here. Good game. Let's back up and see where either one of us could have improved with things here. Refresh that. So the first point is this right here. The queen does not belong on c7. And you may be trying. Maybe you should try to get in d5. This is a line you could be running with. After I play here, well, actually it doesn't work. So there's a tactic to be aware of. If after knight f3, if d5 is played, takes, there's this in-between move. Knight takes e5, knight takes knight, knight takes knight, knight takes queen, knight takes knight. There's a crazy, a long series of in-between moves that's available if d5 is played right now. I'm pretty sure. So if you really want to play d5, I guess it's going to have to be when. Actually, you would need the e-pawn support, it would seem, at this point, because I'm there just in time to stop this d5 advance, and I'm here once again tactically if d5 is played. So if you want to transition into that type of a pawn structure, right here, when I'm playing c4 and knight c3, if you really want to get in this d5 move, you'll want to think about, on the black side, developing your king knight prior to your queen knight. Your king knight is the one that facilitates d5. Your queen knight does not. So there is a difference between these two knight moves, and it could result in the changing of the pawn structure. So keep that in mind. Queen c7, do something other than that. You could consider, I guess, d6 and bishop to e6, and then try and get in d5 before my knight takes its little journey. I don't know. It's a giant clamp on the position. Everything is revolving around this d5 square, and it could be that this queen move is really the beginning of very minor things being bad for black, and sometimes it could just take a very minor thing to be some small problem in your own position, and then it could blow up into something big where you're just lacking a constructive plan. Like what do you do in a position like this where I have control over d5? There's no what does black not have available to them here? They don't have a constructive plan. There's no successful pawn break that could be played in order to help these rooks come into play. So yeah, I don't know, and you definitely can't allow me to get that b pawn, but it's just a tough spot to be in this position anyhow. You might want to consider actually playing h6 just to make sure I don't go in for this bishop for knight exchange, and then maybe you're able to get this move in successfully somehow. I think it's still going to be a difficult road ahead because of what I could be doing. I could just be playing my knight here and then here, but it's worth another look. I'm just throwing out little ideas, not playing queen here, considering stopping the bishop for knight exchange, because you see how that just reinforces white's grip over the d5 square. Okay, so I guess I touched on more points than maybe what I would normally do after a game, but anyhow, hopefully there's some things you're taking away from it.